10 U.S. marijuana CEOs get $1 million pay in 2020's disclosure practices question. Like,
all right, let's go down and see who are the top $10 million CEOs. Oh, number one, Charlie Batchel from Cresco Labs with 4.47. Number two, James Capico from Juicy with almost 4 million, 3.98 million. Nicholas Vita from Columbia Care, 3.7 million. Oh, Peter Caldini from Acreage Holdings, a mere 2.91 million. And then Ryan Lissack from MedMen only got 1.72 million. What about the options? It looks like that's one of the reasons why Cresco Labs was able to pop that number so much, of options of 3.9 million. So that's really kind of illusory. His actual salary lines are broken off right there. It appears that the only one that's not working for his salary is the CEO of Acreage Holdings, which would mean that his alignment of interest would kind of most merge with the stockholders, the shareholders, the limited holders that are there for their preferred share payments. I wonder what the other is under Nicholas's for the Columbia Care. That's like $500,000 of others. Options for Acreage was about $850,000 and $2 million in stock. Boy, that's not bad. So he's increasing his position. So like these numbers, they really don't mean shit. Because like Acreage isn't publicly traded. It's closely held. So like that could be worth a fuck ton more than what Charlie took home, which could be worth, who's actually making the most there? Maybe the MedMen one, because like their stock sucks. So they sucked him up more in actual monies on the salary line.
But like if that CEO just took half that pay, half that whatever bonus money and invest it into the lower half, because I imagine these guys only get the foot soldiers are only making $10-12 an hour. You can give livable wages. Like these guys are killing her. How are they considered good businessmen when they still lose money? And then don't other companies like look at their track records and be like, well, you sucked? I mean, how does this circle jerk keep happening?
Because they've rigged the market. They're all limited licenses, and so there's only so many of them. You see,
and
so like how many licenses are available in Illinois? None. How many licenses are available in Ohio? None. You know, how many licenses are available in Pennsylvania? 0. How many licenses do we have going on in New Jersey? Maybe 24, and they've been in litigation for 2 years. How many in New York? 0. You know, in Florida, there's going to have a couple new licenses, but the Florida license is like $60 million frickin' dollars.
Still a crazy top-heavy, just ridiculously unjust structure. You know, like of the leading 15 marijuana MSOs examined for 2020, only one was headed by a female CEO, Truliev's Kim Rivers, and the rest were by men. Fred Whitsley, a marijuana compensation expert and founder of the Seattle-based Compensation Venture Group, I didn't know that, noted that he could write a lengthy piece on all the errors and incorrect disclosures in cannabis companies. There seems to be an industry-wide disregard for accuracy and security filings. You think? You think in an industry that's still coming from the outlaw days has issues with books?
Yeah, it's that's why it's like that, because greed and money and people like that. And people also, you know, a lot of people that control things get glee from being able to get stuff you can't. And so they want that exclusivity. They want to be like, look at me. Look at what I got. It's really pathetic when you come right down to it. And especially considering, like, what was the point of legalizing weed? Was it to go from legacy to licensed? Is that what it was supposed to be? Are we supposed to just say, you know, this is stupid? Nobody's supposed to be getting arrested for growing weed. Nobody's supposed to be getting arrested for having weed and possession limits, for example. You know, I realize as soon as I'm brewing my own beer and I set up a lemonade stand, but like, you know, cross out the word lemonade, put homebrew beer. I'm going to have to start getting hit with regulations because I'm placing a foodstuff into the stream of commerce and I'm doing it for money, you know? Right. That's fine, but there's nothing really stopping me from doing that other than my own ingenuity and my ability to be able to get a liquor license and put together a business plan and capitalize the loan that I need, or get a loan, that I would need to be able to open a brewery that might be $500,000 to $2 million. You know?
No, I totally agree. Like when cannabis gets to that level where you can say, okay, I can start a grow. I just need a business plan and to get involved, you know, because again, that you should be able to go to jail for not paying your taxes, but for say making $1 million and it's something, but not for that grow itself. Period. you know,
Michigan, Oregon, Oklahoma, there are open markets. A lot of parts in California still kind of open. There's opportunity in the East Coast. There's opportunity in Illinois, but it's just that they have made it too limited, too rigged, too competitive and overregulated. So it artificially inflates the price and it artificially pads the profits.
Well, there's opportunity in all of this, depending on what your niche is. But to be the grower, to be the part of the actual market, it's unfortunate that we've worked so hard to legalize it in different states. But then the big creepy money can look at you and go, "Oh, like a vulture. I'm just waiting. I'm waiting for that time." And they're there. And they're watching. But I think once all the walls get knocked down, once the MSOs realize, like, oh, we do bad business. We practice bad business. That's the equity that the federal equity that they're looking for. Like, what you got to do, eliminate that low barrier crime and give everybody a chance with the seed.
Yeah, that's Michigan. It's called the unlimited 100-plant license. So it's like, why don't you have your license? Well, I didn't want to do it.
See, even in Michigan, though, like with the medical versus recreational, that's where we're talking about that lady from that I can't say the name of the county.
Yeah,
that's in Michigan, but
right.
That's a different defense because she's arguing that her medical grow, and then they have an actual ordinance, which unfortunately is in line with their state ordinance, which is still bullshit because as a wellness thing, as a health option, it's not. They're trying to tell her you need to take this medicine, this thing that helps you, and do it somewhere else.
No, they said you can go back down to your number of plants. The cannabis caregiver stuff that's why Michigan has like a lot of grow talent and a lot of cultivation, because there was a lot of cultivators. And they did that caretaker style where you could get up to 72 plants, but they're kind of ending that now, and they've been ending it. And so, like, the fact that they would have been doing that is that they're operating under older law, and Michigan's also a dual licensing state. So the municipality has authority to create certain rules, and then you have to be licensed by both of them. But she's able to, like, if she needs more than 6 plants worth of medicine for herself, why?
Well, you say why, but some really sick people, to make concentrates, that use the concentrates, it takes a lot of plant. And 6 plants. What are you saying? I'm supposed to feel good for just a week or just a month, whatever, little bit of time.
That could be handled on a different basis. Then, I mean, she needs additional plants or additional caregivers, but it's just, how many plants was she busted with? Was it the 72?
Yeah, I think it was 70. Like, it was an ongoing operation because she's been having throughout the years until a recent neighbor complained about the smell. Like, what they should have done is just like, hey, invest in a charcoal system.
That's right. But then she's operating it like a cottage industry. It's just no different than like if you were making your own beer and selling it. And so you have to be in compliance with the regulations. It didn't say that she was making it and personally using all the 72 plants.
Well, it also has to come down to like their collective model, right? Like
the 72 plant model has been flooding the Pennsylvania, not flooding Pennsylvania, what's due south, flooding Indiana and Illinois and even Wisconsin's illegal markets for a while.
Oh, I'm sure every medical is leaking everywhere else, but
yeah,
if she's supporting herself,
Michigan's is leaking because they allow the 72 plant grow. Like, anybody can grow in Michigan. It's really cool.
What about Oklahoma? I mean,
Oklahoma's leaking, I'm sure. Oklahoma's probably leaking like a sieve, man.
But even like during Washington's medical times, dude, I mean, you hear all this. The big argument was, God damn it, when cannabis leaves your state, a diversion, right? They're like, oh, we want to prevent diversion. We don't want this legal weed to leave the state. Even though during the medical times, it was doing it all the time, but you never heard about anybody from Washington getting particularly busted and pointing out fingers back to Washington. Mm-hmm. I've seen pounds leave here, and you take your own risk. But unfortunately, like with the Olympian runner, right? We all take a risk when we do what we do, but it shouldn't be a risk. I shouldn't be putting my job at risk for advocating for cannabis. I shouldn't be putting my livelihood at risk, but it is. We're still there, and it's unfortunate.